Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We were discussing the chapter The Call of the Minaret. In this chapter we have discussed that what happens when Allah calls to us. What should we do when Allah call to us? How should we respond to the azan, and how should we offer prayers? Now, before offering any namaz, what is the essential part? You have to do wuzu. I hope you all must know the way to do the wuzu. Now here we will discuss some obligatory parts in wuzu. The following parts are obligatory in wuzu. The wuzu will not be complete if any of them is missed or ignored. They are: first, the niyyah, the intention to the above to achieve purity to offer salah. Second is to wash the whole face at least once, from the hair to the forehead, to the chin and below, and from ear to ear. Third is to wash the hand up to the elbow once, to wipe the heads. Fifth is to wash the feet up to ankle once, and sixth is to follow the prescribed sequence in wuzu. These are the obligatory, means compulsory things which you have to do. What? First you have to do the niyyah or the intention. Intention is very important, because all acts depend upon the intentions. Then to wash the face at least once, though we wash it 3 times everything, but obligatory is only washing it once. Now the sunnah parts of the wuzu. The following sunnah parts in wuzu must be paid due attention, following the example of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, all the thing which is done by our Prophet is called as sunnat. So there are some sunnah points in the wuzu which we should do following the example of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. To neglect them is sinful. To disregard them is to leave the path of the Prophet. So we should never leave sunnah, because leaving sunnah is leaving the path of the Prophet. What are these sunnah paths? Now let us see. First, to begin wuzu with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. When you start wuzu, you should do what you should say, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Second is the use of miswak. You should brush your teeth or miswak it whenever you do the wuzu. Then to wash hand up to the wrist. Then to rinse the mouth. These are all the sunnah parts of the wuzu. There are more points also. What are these points? To put water in nose and give it a good blow. To pass wet fingers through one's head. To wipe the space between the fingers and the toes. To wash each limb thrice. To wash the right leg before the left. To wash one limb soon after the other before the first get dries. To wipe both the ears. To recite dua when the wuzu is complete. These are all the sunnah parts of the wuzu, and we should not leave it, because leaving these sunnahs are leaving the path of the Prophet. Now, healthy habits of cleanliness. Wuzu is the heart of faith and the key of prayer. But besides inner purification, one of the great aim in wuzu is to encourage the healthy habit of cleanliness. Such part of the body that are generally kept uncovered are washed in wuzu time after time, so that dust and impurity of any sort may be removed. Impurities settled on the body produce very unhealthy effects on the mind. It should be of interest to note that according to Shah Waliullah of Delhi, the dirt that stays in the nostrils is often the cause of nightmares and sleep, and it affects the mental health. So in our deen it is said that cleanliness is half of faith. So doing wuzu is not just for getting ready for salah, but also it develops as a habit of cleanliness. Now, as the pandemic time is going on, everybody is saying to wash hand every times. But in our religion, from 1400 years we are saying that every Muslim wash his hand not only 5 times a day. Time to time he performs wuzu and wash his or her hand. So how scientific our religion is. By this you can imagine that how scientific Islam is. Everything is scientific in Islam. Not only all the stories and myths, all our things are scientific proved. And according to Shah Waliullah of New Delhi, if the dust and dirt remain inside a nostril, then it gives rise to nightmares. Often people complain that we cannot sleep soundly at night, we see nightmares. So these are nightmares are due to the habit of uncleanliness. So if you want a sound sleep, a good sleep, you should be clean and you should perform wuzu before going to sleep. The Holy Prophet ﷺ thought so highly of the cleaning of the teeth with miswak that he never neglected it under any conditions. Even on his deathbed he asked for it, and whenever he got up from the sleep at night he used to clean his mouth with miswak. You also know that this habit is also so scientific. We should now everybody doctor says that you should brush your teeth whenever you get up and whenever you go to sleep. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was so in habit of doing miswak that even on his deathbed he did miswak, and he never ignored miswak. Whenever he used to get up from the sleep at night, he used to do miswak. Al Hadith has it, had I not feared my people would find it hard, I would have recommended to use the miswak before every salah. What did the Prophet said? That if I have not feel that the people will find it difficult, he would have ordered his people his followers to miswak every time before offering salah. A word about the niyyah. What is the meaning of niyyah? Niyyah means your intentions. The niyyah really means intention. A hadith has it. Actions are but by intentions, and everyone shall have but that which he intended. Hence, if a good action is done with a bad aim, such as for praise or to seek a worldly pleasure, again it shall not be benefit in the hereafter. Everything, all our work is dependent upon our intentions. If we do our good deed, suppose we are helping a poor, but we are not helping just to help the poor, but we are showing it so that everybody can notice that how wealthy we are and how we help, then this goodness will not be at all counted in our books. All duties from the highest to the humblest can only be useful and meritorious in the sight of Allah if they are carried out with the right intention to seek Allah's pleasure. So whatever we should do to seek Allah's pleasure, not to please anybody else, just to please Allah's pleasure. If you are obeying your parents, then also you should say that I am obeying my parents because Allah wants me to obey my parents. If you are obeying your teacher, you should always remember, you should say that I am obeying my teacher because Allah wants that I should obey my teachers and elders. Remember, study, school and every other good work becomes a ibadah, worship, if it is done with right intentions out of love for Allah and to seek His pleasure. Whatever work you do, if you do it with the right intention, then that work itself becomes a ibadat, and you will seek. And if you do it to seek Allah's pleasure, it will count to you on the day of judgment. However, uttering of one's intention in set words or expression is unknown to the Quran or the Hadith. Intention, in fact, is making up of one's mind to resolve to do a thing. It is related to heart rather than the tongue. So intention is not only you have to recite it by your mouth, that before offering salah we say the niyyah. Everybody of us say, but it is not compulsory. It is not saying in any hadith or Quran. But because Allah knows what is in the depth of our heart, so our intentions counts, not our tongue. If we have a right intention, then every deed will be counted. And if we do any good deed with not a right intention, with a bad intention, then it won't be counted. So whatever you do, your intention should be good, and your intention should be to please Allah. Then only your all good deeds will be counted. This is all for today's lecture, and this completes your chapter as a whole.